Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's me again. So today, we're going to talk about the shopping cart theory. But first, I got to clarify something about going forward with live streams and chats. So, normally in class, like an in-person class, normally in an in-person class, there's like a hand-raising policy. And not because y'all are childish or immature, but just because I have a really, really rickety train of thought. I in person generally start the class with saying like my train of thought is like an old Coney ride. So it's going wild and falling off the tracks. So that way I don't lose it. I usually have hands. It's kind of like a call and response. Hey everyone, call and response type of thing. So I'm still getting used to this being a forum for teaching through this whole live stream thing. And really want to encourage and foster that discussion with everything. Like I want to be able to have that discussion with all of you as I peer over to the chat. Look and see that with each other, amongst yourselves. Problem is I'm having a hard time distinguishing between whether what you bring up in the chat is general chat amongst yourselves, or if it's a legitimate question you have for me that you'd like me to address in the live stream, or if it's just you basically going, notice me, senpai, notice me. So keep chatting. Keep engaging, but if there is something you have a specific question on, specifically for me, that you'd like me to address in the live stream, like I would in an in-person classroom setting, I'm going to ask that you just call me out specifically. All I need to see is come post and a question mark somewhere in your message. Well, not somewhere. Question marks go at the end. Grammar. But address me specifically, and I can get to your question after I finish like a thought or something. But that way, I can filter out general chat amongst you guys from those legitimate questions and issues you have for me. So, point is, keep going with chatting amongst yourselves or stuff like that in the chat. Keep commenting. I mean, that's kind of what the benefits of this forum is kind of peanut gallery and commentary and stuff like that. Allows you that opportunity. Chat with each other, help each other out in addressing questions. If there's something you want me to specifically address, all I ask is just throw in the chat, hey, come post, or something like that, Reverend, something, and just say, can you clarify that? Whatever your question is. I'll happily get to it when I see it pop up and then when I finish my thought. So that's all I'm saying going forward. I don't want to discourage anything. Use it, man. This is where we're at. Like I said, totally laid back and chill. I want to keep it that way. Hey, bud.
Oh, just what you're gonna say.
What do you mean? I'm not talking to you. Hold on. Yes. Do you need to be inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. You ready to go inside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can go that
What
way.
are you doing?
I'm teaching.
And what is that mic for thing?
Well, this is how they hear me.
The what?
That's how they hear me. Okay. I'll see you in a little bit.
I can't get out.
What? Okay, go out through the main door. Go out through that and go upstairs.
How about I do?
Okay, hold on. All right, no more interruptions. Love you. And there it is. It's gonna happen one of these days. So, speaking of, just keep yourself chatting with each other. That's my son. That's Big B. So anyway, chat amongst yourselves. If you have something specific for me, just throw out compost and then ask a specific question, and I'm happy to address it. Otherwise, just keep chatting and don't feel like... I'm going to try to not keep engaging with chat unless I specifically see something like my name where you're asking me something. So, no, I know. No. Interrupt all the time. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Feel free to interrupt and chat and do all of that, Natalia. Like, keep chatting with yourselves. I'm going to try not to focus on chat unless I see something specifically that says my name in some capacity or addresses me. Then I'm happy to address that when I can get to it. It's just more so for me. I like seeing you guys engage. By the way, y'all like kicked ass this discussion board. I mean, like you were really rocking it in terms of connecting and discussing and honesty and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's just because of me. I hope it's not just because you're like, again, notice me, senpai, notice me. But or if you're just trying to you've been itching for like connection and stuff, which is fine. Just do that. So yeah, keep talking and connecting with each other, both in the chat and on the discussion board. It's kind of what the liberty is. In an in-person classroom, you wouldn't have this opportunity unless there was like a mass group chat or a WhatsApp. He can come all the time. He would want to. He would totally want to just sit in and listen, but then he gets bored. He reads a lot of the books in my study, or tries to read them. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you can have this liberty of being able to chat amongst yourselves while someone like me rambles on. In an in-person class, it wouldn't really work that well. So I want to keep things the way they are and just keep them chill, and we'll just go from there. So keep chatting, keep connecting and doing all of that. Just know that I'm gonna ever welcome to me. Yeah, I'm going to try not to focus on chat until I see compost or something like that. So, all right, the shopping cart theory. It's been floating around social media, and so I don't have a Facebook or anything. Go ahead, look me up. You won't find me on Facebook because I'm not there. I do have Twitter, and I'm hip, and I'm jive. I'm with it. I'm down with the viral stuff on the interwebs that the kids are into these days. You know, anyway, if you're not aware of what the shopping cart theory is, it basically is an example of ethical behavior and an explanation of motivation in people. So it's a perfectly apt theory to not only begin our discussion of ethics, but to continue to refer back to throughout the course. So don't be surprised if you witness me, like that, witness me! That's a Mad Max reference if you didn't get it. Again, hip. If you witness me return back to the theory at some point and elaborate on it, maybe more so as we get into political philosophy and stuff, and group ethics and dynamics like that in Chapter 6. But for now, here's why the shopping cart theory applies to ethics. And sure, if you know what it is, it's going to seem pretty obvious what and how it has to do with the study of ethics. But remember, our goal, at least in my course, specifically is to dig deeper. And I don't think many realize just how much this theory speaks to more than just morality and the study of ethics. So, what is the shopping cart theory? Well, before we can get into that, let's talk about Glaucon and Socrates and get into at least an intro into ethics, at least according to our textbook. A little background so you can understand the interaction between Glaucon and Socrates. Socrates was set to be tried for crimes he committed against basically against society as a whole. Or rather, I would say he committed crimes against the two institutions you really don't want to go after, because they're the institutions that do not like being challenged. And that is religion and economics. Or should I say religion and another form of religion. That's a joke about capitalism and idolatry. The golden calf. Anyway, so, yes, corrupting the youth. That sort of formal charge was corrupting the minds of the youth. There was a lot that Socrates taught, and it seemed that the youths were the most keen to listen. But one of the major things was basically that they shouldn't go to temples and give the gods money. Not that there were no gods. He wasn't advocating that. He wasn't preaching atheism. He was saying that if you're going to worship gods, worship ones that are worthy of your worship and devotion. Basically, it'd be like if I was asked to speak at a mega church's youth group, right? I mean, if we were in Rampart campus, if I got asked to speak at the New Life, if I was asked to speak at New Life Church's youth group, and I don't know, convinced all of them that Jesus is a communist and they shouldn't give their tithes and offerings to a megachurch built as an idol in service of a hierarchy of power, all intertwined with capitalistic economics, because Jesus was a radical anarchist who sought to overthrow any and all forms of hierarchy, including those based on an economic system. And then all the youth in the youth group listened and revolted. How do you think the megachurch would feel about me? And if that megachurch was also extremely intertwined with the general economic system of the day, so much so that destabilizing the megachurch's income were to destabilize the economy in general, because the two work in conjunction to maintain the status quo, how do you think society would feel about me? And well, so that was sort of it. So here we find Socrates facing trial because the youths essentially believed him, and society and the temples saw it as an extreme threat, because here is this generation growing up and they're not believing the bullshit that got fed to them. Worship and work hard, whatever the case may be, just that strong Protestant work ethic. And along comes someone that's like, no, give. So he's facing trial. And so, of course, he's mulling over concepts of justice and ethics, morality, right action, right living, those sorts of things. And you see, for Socrates, he determined if he was to be judged, he wanted to be judged not just for his crimes. He wanted to be judged on the basis of his life and ideas. He wanted even his trial to match his life. Basically, to argue forcibly not for just himself, but for the truth, capital T truth, all caps truth. And as he's awaiting trial, he comes into contact with a number of individuals. We'll get into a couple of them this week. And as was his way, he figured he'd probe into their views on the subjects that he's presently not only mulling over, but facing. And you can imagine, even the most certain of individuals will slip into doubt. It doesn't matter how certain you are in your beliefs, there is always something that can cause you to doubt. Such was the case here. Socrates, awaiting the trial, nevertheless sought truth. He sought out whether or not he was wrong. And the only way to do that is to listen. Listen to others. And that's what he did with Glaucon. And, spoiler, it only served to reaffirm his own beliefs, which, in the end, actually are kind of what led directly to his death. See, in those days, trials were a two-part affair. First, the guilty verdict, innocent or guilty. They were tried, the jury determined innocence or guilt, and in his case, of the 500 presiding jurors over it, 280 declared him guilty, and 220 voted for acquittal. That's almost 50-50 with those numbers. It's pretty close. However, in those days, upon a guilty verdict, the defendant could argue what their punishment should be. Socrates argued that he had been sent by his personal God to serve the citizens with his probing questions, and he had done nothing but provide a great benefit. So he argued that his punishment should be that he should not receive not just a banquet, but a lifetime of honor reserved for heroes, and a lifetime of heroes' banquets. Basically, it'd be like if I said I was doing a huge service in my work, and you all should salute me and honor me every Memorial Day and Veterans Day and say thank you for your service. And I should get all the benefits awarded the servicemen and women. If I was just like, you know what, I'm doing way more awesome work. I'm doing heroes work, so I should get the same discounts that servicemen do, and I want all of you to say thank you for your service, sir. Yeah. Do you feel yourself feeling a little bit incensed at that? Well, yeah, that's how the 500 members of the jury felt with Socrates. They voted for the death penalty for him. They were like, yeah, no, this mother effer has got to die, and that sentence was won 360 to 140 on the votes. He gets to put up, here's what I want, and they're like, you're gonna die. Yes, the prize of Olympic champions. Socrates was given poison to drink, hemlock. And before he died, he said goodbye to all of his followers and loved ones, told them not to mourn, and as it says in one of my favorite lines in all of literature, he drank the cup of death. Wow, that's quite a start to that afternoon special. For access to the full video, or to get the full course, or just support me making new content that has everything or nothing to do with what you just watched, head on over to my Patreon, link in the bio. Join the community. I'd love to see you there and have you become a part of something bigger than me, but something where I can play my part just the same. See you there.